12 years ago, Sandi Kern nearly lost her life to a mysterious health condition. And doctors had no answer, no diagnosis, just frustration and fear. But instead of giving up, Sandi got curious. She found a doctor who actually listened, changed everything about her lifestyle, and then, guess what? She turned that survival story into a business that's now helping others do the same thing. I stopped by Desire to Be Well Juicery here in Washington to meet Sandi, taste some of the goods, and hear how one woman's mission to heal herself turned into a movement that's gaining some serious traction.
This episode is sponsored by Knots and Tangles Hair Salon. Call Terry at 724-222-3391 to schedule your next appointment. Welcome to America, period. Presenting this community interview with Desire to Be Well Juicery, featuring your host, Matt Sweets, with special guest, Sandi Kern. Welcome to America, period. Your source. Follow and subscribe for free on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and more. Proudly made in the USA.
Welcome to America, period. I'm Matt Sweet Staniszewski, and I'm here with a dear friend of mine, Sandi Kern, owner of what's the full name?
Desire to Be Well Juicery.
I always think of it as just the juicery, but
right.
Desire to Be
Desire to Be Well is our brand, and is my brand, and this is the Desire to Be Well Juicery.
And speaking of desiring to be well, before we get into the food,
yes,
let's get into, going back to the beginning.
Right.
Okay. Now,
everybody in this business, the health and wellness business, has a story. So
very fair. Very fair.
So there's usually something that, precipitated getting into this business.
Which, in your case, it was a health scare. You weren't getting any answers. There was no relief in sight. What was going on in your mind at that time, and how did it become really the spark for this entire journey?
Yes, exactly. So this was going back about 13 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I started having, incredible health issues where the swelling and inflammation and the pain and digestive issues and brain fog. And I was in my 40s. It was terrifying. My kids were little. They were, Jack and Trevor were 8 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
And, they had to help me walk. They had to help me get dressed
really?
sometimes.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know all of it.
Yeah,
wow.
It was upsetting. And I couldn't get any answers. And I would have anaphylactoid reactions to food 2 or 3 days after eating it and never knowing what it was that triggered the reaction. And I would all of a sudden just, my tongue would swell up and people would go, "Oh, Sandi, what's the matter?" And, run for the Benadryl, but nobody could give me any answers. We don't know what's wrong with you. You must be allergic to yourself.
You must be allergic to yourself.
I love that one.
That was their prognosis for this whole thing?
Yeah. Pretty prominent allergist, immunologist in this area too. And I was really can I have my copay back?
Yeah, really. I mean,
it was upsetting.
You definitely weren't getting your money's worth out of that.
But no help. And so, eventually a friend of ours, Anne-Marie Chambers.
Yes. Okay.
She said, "Sandi, you need to go see, Dr. Gallagher." So I made an appointment, or tried to make an appointment. And, of course, he was booked out for months. And I finally got a miracle appointment, got in there. He knew exactly what was going on. As an integrative physician, the best of Eastern and Western medicine,
right,
he could put the pieces together. He connected the dots and found out that I had multiple food sensitivities, from a digestive imbalance issue. And once we healed my gut, healed my immune system, changed my diet, I was on the road to health. And once the brain fog lifted and it got my strength and health back, I went to school to be a blessing to others. So got my certifications from the School of integrative nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and then a couple years later went to school for functional medicine.
So, generally speaking, being an integrative doctor, and obviously he didn't write you a script, right?
Right.
It was more of life changes. What did he do differently that really flipped that switch for you?
Yeah, well, it was drugless. He calls it his drugless prescriptions.
Okay.
And he has, protocols on vitamins. We did acupuncture. We did IV nutrition. I mean, I was near death. I really was. It was very upsetting. People would whisper to my husband, "Fred, she's dying."
Oh,
you know,
no. Like that's very scary.
Yeah. And again, it was a lot. It was hard for my whole family. But once everybody came around, it was awesome. The boys, Trevor being young, 8 years old, he would love and kiss me and give me a drink and tell me he loved me. And Jack was like, quit crying. We're going to figure out what's wrong.
Suck it up, right?
well, no. So we're going to figure out what's wrong and you're going to be well.
Good.
Like, just keep the faith, So that's when I realized that making these changes with my health eventually it was going to lead to success. And
and speaking of which, so it wasn't just I want to get healthy.
Yeah.
You then went to what, I'm going to open up this juicery and help other people in this type of transformation, if you will. How'd you get to that point?
Well, it's funny. Fred, if he was here, he'd laugh really hard because I was doing coaching, so I was working with people, helping them find their answers to their health and wellness issues. Wrote my best-selling book during COVID, which was, Desire to Be Well, Recipes and Wellness for Health and Happiness. Matt's dad's looking at it right now.
He's checking it out, and he is loving the recipes.
He's
so
loving
far.
the recipes. Yeah,
yes.
it's a 3-part book.
Pretty damn good.
Awesome. Love that. So, wrote my book, and
it's international now, right?
It was international bestseller.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, very exciting.
I'm sorry, you were saying that?
So, in the business plan, in the workings, like, well, what am I going to do for business plan for next year? People are done with the virtual thing. We all got burnt out during, COVID.
Right.
So they're into experiential marketing. So what are we going to do to get out there and promote my coaching and my book?
Sure.
So I was looking, Pinterest, and look what they're doing with these little horse trailers. Fred, look at this. And he's like, yeah, right. And then I was like, no, I'm serious. I really want to do this. And so we were hunting around, and he wasn't taking me serious yet until the one day I was like, we're going. Then look at these horse trailers.
There was no doubt about it. We were going to check this out.
We were out. We had 2 or 3 places we were going to go. The first place we went to, we just fell in love with her, and he turned to me and he was like, this is awesome. Write the check. And I was like, okay, let's go. And that was that.
All right.
And then we came up with the logo on the way home.
No kidding.
So it was out near Ohio Pile.
Okay. Yep.
Was where we picked her up. And on the way home, I was, designing and stuff. It was meant to be. So anyway, so we were opened.
Mm-hmm.
We restored and renovated the little horse trailer into a commercial kitchen and mobile juicery. And the owners of Pig and Fire, Matt and Suzanne, they fell in love with our juices. And obsessed, actually. And they were, wanting us to juice on the side and, with jugs of juice. And they said, by the way, Sandy, there's this cute little barn down here at Quail Acres that, would be an awesome juicery. And I was like, dang, okay, let's go. Let's do it, So we decided, okay. And that's when we came up with, the plan to renovate this barn. This barn was built in 1837.
Very cool.
It's very cute, very charming little space.
It's very comfy, yes.
It is. People come here and it's they come in a bad mood. They leave all happy and stuff. They're like, what happened?
Now, what do you attribute that to? And really, a desire to be well. Why do you think people are connecting with that these days?
Well, everybody wants to be healthy. Everybody wants the longevity. It's now become, quite the topic of conversation about like what is in our food. People that have, everything here at the Desire to Be Well Juicery and our other location that we just opened at South Point, everything is gluten and dairy free. Mm-hmm. Everything is fresh, wholesome, and delicious. Juice is made to order. You can customize anything you want. But it's it's what people are looking for. If you have any health issues, if you have, you don't have to be a celiac to benefit by eating gluten and dairy free. If you just want to improve your inflammation, you come here and everything is low glycemic, anti-inflammatory, but it's disguised as your favorite foods. So
and you mentioned
that's a win.
Absolutely, it's a win. Who doesn't want to be healthy and have longevity in life, right?
Right, exactly.
And with your certifications, you've studied the science, you've experienced the science behind this. How do you keep this place smart but yet approachable to, those that might say, "Ooh, kale, ugh."
Right. Well, that's right. So the beauty of my book and the beauty of our restaurants is that it isn't about kale salad, right? It's all your favorite foods, all done in a healthier way. So instead of me standing on one side of the street saying, you need to eat healthy, and, everyone on the other side of the street go, no, it's weird, I don't want to.
Right.
I meet people in the middle, because it doesn't matter how much you know. If you're not reaching people, who are you benefiting? So this way, it's very approachable. All of our juices are juice blends, super delicious, super nutritious, balanced, and you would never know that it was good for you. All of our food here is delicious. And again, even with like the avocado toast with radish butter.
I love avocado toast.
We put
now radish butter. That sounds interesting.
Butter. It's so good. And once you have it and you try to have something somewhere else and they don't have radish butter, you're sad because it's really good.
That's very intriguing.
But multiple levels of nutrition. So you have your gluten-free bread, you have your radish butter, you have your fresh avocado.
Mm-hmm.
It's not smushed. It's fresh chunks of avocado.
Oh, nice.
Seasonings and microgreens. You take a bite of that and you're like, oh, this is so fresh and delicious. Think of all the layers of nutrition, though. Boom, 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 boom. And the juice, right? You get a cosmic cabbage. You have red cabbage. There's pears. There's apple. There's ginger.
Interesting.
And all these, again, layers of nutrition. Mm-hmm. The Desire to Be Well program.
But it tastes good.
It's fabulous.
Okay.
I got my name on this place now.
I gotcha.
Everything has to meet my standards, and my standards are pretty high.
And they're fresh.
And everything is fresh, yes.
And I know this might be a shocker. I'm a foodie, obviously.
I know you are. You're a gourmet.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. What are some of the, aside from, juices and so forth, what are some of the other items on top of this avocado toast with the radish butter, which sounds amazing?
It's next level, people.
Is that one of the favorites here?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I have people that'll say, Sandi, I'm not trying to be dramatic or anything, but if I had one thing to eat for the rest of my life, it would be your avocado toast with radish butter.
That says a lot there.
And that just tickles me.
What are some of the other items?
So we have our Be Well waffles, which we're known for, especially on social media. They're honeycomb-shaped gluten-free waffles on a popsicle stick. And
interesting.
They're really cute. And we have a fixins bar, like you would do for make your own sundaes. But you make your own waffles, so you can design your own masterpiece of waffles. And there's chocolate avocado mousse, there's strawberries, bananas, coconut, pecans, cinnamon sugar, maples, honey, local honey, real maple syrup, absolutely, whipped cream, anything you desire on your waffle.
And so when do you offer this again?
Well, you can ask Chelsea to make them every day, but we have the topping bar and the whole shebang on Saturdays.
Okay.
So Saturdays are for waffles. You put that in your brain. You wake up and you go, waffles. It's Saturday. It's waffles. And a Wapner, right? Time for a Wapner,
mm-hmm.
right? But it's time for waffles when you wake up on Saturday. So having fun with that. We also have flatbread pizzas. And the flatbread,
I love some flatbread pizza. Talk to me.
Crispy and yummy, personal size, little 9-inch. You can still share. It's one of our top ones that people say, how do you do that out of this little place? Is very gourmet, is our fig and pig pizza. So we have our prosciutto.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Prosciutto from Penn Mac.
Okay. I
make a spicy sauce with fig, butter, and other,
mm-hmm.
proprietary ingredients. And, so it's sweet, spicy, savory, herbs de Provence, finished with honey.
Nice.
I mean, it's absolutely, it's incredible. So it really is a special treat. We have butterfly lemonade, and that's made with our butterfly pea flower powder. It's a blue matcha. So it's a tea.
Hold on. We got to back up for a second.
Yeah.
Butterfly powder?
Butterfly.
Okay, you got to educate me on that one,
It's a
please.
flower.
Okay.
Yeah. Thailand.
Okay.
From Thailand. And it's called the butterfly pea flower. It's a little blue flower. And it's what's known as blue matcha. So it's a tea and a lemonade. So if you mix the blue powder with the lemonade, it turns purple.
Interesting.
And so we call it the hippie half and half.
The hippie half and half.
Because it's purple and yellow. It's the tea and the lemon. So
nice.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of health benefits for that.
Oh my gosh, it has the L-theanine. L-theanine is for anxiety. Even though it does have a little caffeine in it, it does have the L-theanine, and that helps to balance your energy and throughout the day, so that you don't have any spikes in your energy and drops.
No, and I love
it's good for you too. It's pretty.
It is good for you. That's right. And it's pretty.
It's pretty.
I'm about to check this out,
we do pretty food here.
And speaking of the location, I love, you have locally sourced products here as well. Why are people falling in love with coming here?
Well, it's just such a joyful spot. You come in, it's colorful, it's whimsical. When somebody said, well, how would you describe it? And I said, well, kind of like the funky fairy tale. It's sort of like the funky fairy tale.
I can kind of see it in here like
well,
that. Okay.
Some juice places you go in, it's very sterile. It's like the subway tiles. Everything is like white and black and whatever.
Yes.
You come in here, everything is pink, hot pink and green and lively and carrots and
vibrant, like
vibrant.
Life is supposed to be, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
it's
usually
juicy. We got juicy vibes.
Yes, when you usually walk into a usual juicery, it's very sterile. I would say.
Sometimes it's
a lot of them.
It's a look, it's an aesthetic,
right?
But I decided to go the other way. Make it unique, make it special, make it a place of inspiration.
Well, and based upon
and make you feel good. When you come in, you can't help but be happy.
Based upon you started with the trailer, you opened this location here at Quail Acres here at the Meadowlands in Pennsylvania, and you just recently opened up a location in South Point.
Yes, we expanded. Holy cow. So we opened another spot at the Health Club at South Point, and different animal, different crowds, same menus, same deliciousness.
But they do have the desire to be well.
They do have the desire to be well, yes. And it's just been an exciting ride.
I can imagine.
From, the little horse trailer, and it morphed into this little place. And then someone approached us about the South Point location. A local business owner said, hey, Sandy, you need to go check out that place. And I was like, yes, sir. So I went and I said, heck yeah, I can do this. I can whip my brand in here. And I was looking at some before and after pictures the other day, and I was like, wow, it was really a sad little space. And now it's full of life,
made
just
that
like
transformation.
This one. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And Sandy,
I love designing these places too. It's really
it's awesome.
So much fun.
I love it. It's a very welcoming, comfortable place. I mean, heck, you got my dad in here feeling comfy, so
I know.
That says a lot as well. And in your course of maintaining your health, you're running a business,
yes,
you're doing coaching, you're writing now a second book, working to stay on top of your wellness. How do you avoid the burnout, and how do you keep your own cup filled?
Well, initially it was a real shock.
Okay.
Like it was when I first opened the restaurant, and I was here all day every day, it was a lot, but I just had to get used to it. It's just okay, let's go. And now it's a breeze. It's effortless for me, but maintaining my balance in my life,
right,
I think is what you're trying to get at.
Yes,
but,
yes.
That's one of the things I talk about in my book is we have what's called a wellness wheel, and it's how to make sure that you are taking time to smell the roses, sprinkling all of those non-negotiables into your life so that you can stay balanced. Because if you put all of your focus in one area, you're neglecting some of these others, very important parts of your life. So, eating well, right? We have in the book, we talk about primary foods and secondary foods. Primary foods are the foods that feed your life.
Okay.
So making sure that I make time for joy You know what I mean? Heck, I could be open at 6 a.m. But no, I want to hang out with my dogs. My boys are still at home.
Sure.
So we open at 9. We open at 8 at South Point. But so I make sure that I have time with my kids. I have time with my animals, my home, my husband. We have time, make time for social engagements.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm working those social engagements, but we do have a lot of social engagements. The only thing that, it lacks is sometimes the working out. Like I love to work out, and I just I'm putting in my steps for sure. But
I can imagine.
You know what I mean? Like
yes.
by the end of the day, though, I'm like I'm pooped. But I need to now that it's springtime and we're going to have longer days.
Mm-hmm.
The bike is going on the back of the car, so there's a trail entrance.
Okay.
Right over by South Point.
Okay. Yep.
For the Montour
Trail.
Montour Trail. So when I get off, I'm just going to hop, there I'm going to go and get out there with nature. And
that's perfect.
Yeah. So I'll be able to do all that. So yeah, to answer your question, I do my best. I try, when I'm building my business or I'm putting together a new space, sometimes my time is really, spread thin.
Sure.
And I get, pooped.
And I think you hit the nail on the head with, right. It's not only the physical health, but also the mental and the emotional components of it.
Right.
That's, if they're out of line, as you know, you're not a healthy person holistically.
Right. And that's what I talk about in the book. Like you make sure that make a list of non-negotiables that you want to incorporate into your week or your month and stick to it. Make sure that you get those things into your life so that you have that wellness, because it doesn't matter how clean your food is or how, where you source your flaxseed oil or whatever. If you don't have those other elements, you're not going to have that wellness that you want. So it is a holistic wellness program. So there's the primary foods and secondary foods. Primary foods feed your life. Secondary foods is your diet.
I love it.
We get into all of that in the book.
Absolutely. They definitely have to check out the book as well. And, you got big things going on here. 3 locations. What's next? I mean, you mentioned something about you're going to be featured in a show soon.
Well, I don't think we're going to be featured in a show. We're going to be on set.
You're going to be on set.
We're catering the mayor of Kingstown this week. This week. So one of the actresses hired us to come with our juices, and she likes to support mom and pops.
That's
and she
beautiful.
found us on social media, and her assistant reached out, and we were like, heck yeah, we're there.
Oh, how cool is that? Right?
So yeah, super cool. So we're very starstruck about bringing the little trailer there with our juices and some of our delicious wraps that we make. And maybe meet some of the stars.
I would imagine you're going to get 1 or 2 stars to come visit, right?
Get some pictures, put them on the wall,
Yeah, that would be cool. Have them autograph it,
Right. Heck yeah. And I'm also doing some cooking classes in the kitchen down on the Strip in Pittsburgh.
Nice.
There's a shop. It's a kitchen shop, and it has all of the, amazing gadgets and anything that you need to appoint to your kitchen.
So it's like a shared space type of kitchen, right? Like a kitchen incubator kind of concept.
Well, it's a shop, and then in the back there's a kitchen where they do demos and.
So, but anyone,
yes,
theoretically, anyone could, like any chef could come in and do like a cooking demo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'll be doing 2 of those, one in May and one in June, and I'm super excited to showcase some of the recipes from the book.
Nice.
And teach people you can have gluten and dairy-free amazingness that is so delicious. You would never know that this was, healthy for you. I mean, it tastes really healthy, but you would never know that it wasn't full of cream or, wheat and stuff. So,
I tried this chunky monkey. It tastes delicious. And what's all in this again?
Well, yeah. So a Chunky Monkey, people, especially at the health club, they want a protein. They want a protein shake, right? So instead of just your basic protein shake with like powder and milk or powder and water or whatever, it's a whole food smoothie shake. So it's a protein shake, but it's also a smoothie. So you're getting whole food nutrition and layers of bioavailable protein in every drink.
Nice.
So there's, chia seeds. There's a little bit of mushroom coffee. There's vegan plant-based protein powder. There's also banana, walnuts, local honey for your immune system. Coconut milk, chia seeds. The layers of nutrition just keep going on. So tastes like the best milkshake you ever had, yet you're getting all of those, grams of protein that you want to, but also in a way that your body will absorb it.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter how you eat it, how you eat food. It's if your body can break it down and absorb it. So you want to make sure that the proteins and the macros and micros, are easily digested, broken down, and utilized.
Sure.
Because otherwise, it'll just pass through and you won't get the benefits. So you want to make sure that it's good. So that's one of the reasons why being an integrative nutrition and functional wellness professional helps me to design my recipes in a way that are, A, delicious, B, nutritious, and easily digested and utilized. So
I love it.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Let's end with your motto here of the squeeze of the day, right?
Squeeze the day, right?
Squeeze the day, yes.
Instead of seize the day?
Right. What's the heart behind that phrase? And, what would you say to someone who's, watching our show, thank you, who's stuck, tired, and scared to make that change, make that difference in their life?
Yeah. I mean, it really is just a matter of just taking that first step. Squeeze the day. Take that day and see if you can, add a little nutrition. It's about crowding out. It's not about no, you cannot have those donuts anymore. No, you can't have that anymore. Eat, instead of 3 donuts, have an apple first, or a banana, or some yogurt, and then have your donut. Or
what about my steak or something? I mean,
I love steak.
Okay.
I'm
just making sure here,
you eat quality beef.
Yes, exactly.
You want to make sure that your food is sourced right. Make sure that you're eating the best that you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. This isn't about perfection.
Who wants to be perfect anyway?
Right.
That's no fun.
Yeah. But you want to do your best and, eat. I always say, eat like you love yourself. Right?
That's a great way. Good.
Yeah. Eat like you love yourself. If something tastes good or feels good to your body, there's no good or bad foods. If you're having a health problem,
right,
then there's something that isn't serving you. So you want to make sure that you are eating what serves you and what serves your body, because there aren't any good or bad things. It's just a matter of whether or not it works for you or not.
Okay. And so it's really individualized as well.
Totally individualized. Okay. And that's what I do with my coaching in my spare time.
What spare time?
Right. I still work with clients. I have some very special people that I work with, and I've helped them tremendously. I mean, just for example, there was someone, a prominent business owner in this area. We've been working together, and she was being treated for MS and rheumatoid arthritis. She didn't have either one.
No kidding. Wait, she never had them to begin with?
She was on 12 different cancer medicines, and she didn't have that. And in our sessions, when we were working together, she was like, oh, the pain and tingling is so much worse after working in my barn. And I said, stop. This is mold. This is mycotoxin poisoning. Have your doctor test you. And, so we got to the root cause of what was going on. And now she's fabulous.
And instead of taking, 12 pills from Big Pharma.
She was so sick. She was so sick. And from the medicine. And it was killing her. And, so it was really amazing. And that's kind of what I do. Like I said, I don't treat or diagnose people, but I do lead them to their answers. And I'll say, hey, get this checked, get this whatever. And then, treat them through nutrition.
Now, when you do your consulting, do you also help come up with, a specific dietary plan or anything? Or okay.
No, I help people. I introduce them to a new way of eating.
Okay.
And then they can, it's up to them. Incorporate it however they want. Yeah, I don't do nutrition plans and all that kind of stuff. Okay. But I help, teach people about, see how this, it's almost like the kinesiologist. So hold this in your hand, and if it's heavy or whatever.
Right.
But it's give it a try.
Sure.
Especially the gluten and dairy. There is something, even the gluten-free companies will use real cheese on their stuff. Like you buy the pizza and it's got real cheese on it, or a restaurant makes a gluten-free pizza.
Isn't that against the whole premise to begin with?
When you have testing and stuff done,
right,
and it'll say, oh, you're okay to have cheese or this or that. But in essence, what really is going on is it's called molecular mimicry.
Okay.
So here's some of the functional medicine coming in here. If you're sensitive to one, either gluten or dairy, you're actually sensitive to both. Your body gets confused and sees them as the same offender. So, yeah. So I always think, like, who is doing your research on this product? You know, like,
Fair.
you know, but you know, we try to get pizza at the grocery store, gluten-free pizza, and it's full of cheese, and you're like, oh my gosh. So anyway, everything here is gluten and dairy free for that reason, because everything is super inflammatory.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a 4-chambered stomach. You know, cows have 4-chambered stomachs, and they only drink milk for a few months until they're ready for grass. Then their mom kicks them in the head. We've never been kicked in the head.
So is that what I need? I just need a good kick in the head.
A swift kick in the head. And then, yeah, but that's why we're all so addicted to dairy. You know, I mean, who doesn't love all that creamy deliciousness? And a lot of people will say, oh, it makes me feel crappy, but they don't care. Well, it's because they're addicted to it. And that's nature's way. That's the mother cow's, you know, insurance that their calf is going to come back and be healthy. So we still have, it's like an opiate.
Really?
Yeah. There's like a natural opiate
That's
in milk
amazing.
and in cheeses and stuff. That's why we're all hopelessly addicted. It's like, you know, I have learned how to use the plant-based cheeses because,
Okay.
I mean, I'm a person of a certain age and I know what it's like to eat cheese. And
I love my cheese.
I
own that. I love
know.
my cheeses.
Yeah, but nobody can digest it. And it's depending upon, you know, how old you are. I mean, the dose doesn't make the poison. So, you know, it could affect you as a child. It could affect you in middle age or older. Or if you have another health issue, it could, you know, rear its ugly head at that point when your immune system is weakened, you know. So anyway, long story short.
Yes.
Try to be gluten and dairy free if you can, because it is, even if you don't have celiac disease or anything, it's better for your digestion. And I know there is a lot of junk food out there that says it's gluten free and yada yada, but you know, we all know that.
So don't trust the labels all
It's
the
junk
time.
food, right? It's a cookie. What, you know? So, you know, broccoli is gluten free. Steak is gluten free.
Yes, I love my
Potatoes
steak.
are gluten free. You know, so there's a lot of
So people can still enjoy their meat and potatoes.
And most people are not eating bread anyway.
Okay, right.
So-
I'm not a big bread person or anything like that, you know.
Yeah.
So
So and they have really improved a lot of the pastas and you know, like what I make here, the waffles and stuff. I mean, even our baked goods and stuff, they're so moist and tender, delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, like our Fred bread. It's our chocolate chip banana nut chia bread. We always have that.
Interesting.
And you know, you take a bite of anything that I make, like even the Irish soda bread.
Okay.
Irish soda bread.
I'm very familiar with that.
We make it for St. Patrick's Day every year. And, you know, typically it's dry anyway.
It is typically
on the dry side.
Yes, it is.
But, and then gluten-free things are, a lot of stuff that you buy in the store can be a little dry. The stuff that we made, and we make every year, has a tenderness to it. You know, so it's
Really?
rustic on the outside, crusty,
Right,
but then
right.
on the inside it has a nice tenderness.
It's a little bit more moist and so forth.
It's delicious. So for whatever I do, I don't know, but that's different. But everything turns out really delicious. Nobody would ever know or care, and you know, we're not compromising taste, texture, or tradition when you're, you know.
Next
trying
St. Patty's Day, I'm going to have to try when you roll that out. That sounds very interesting because my aunt would always, she's very Irish, would make it every year, and it does tend to have that texture, if you will,
right?
Or you know,
almost like a biscuit.
Yes,
or it can be kind of a little crumbly, a little dry. But ours is just it's just heaven. I think we sold 35
nice
this year.
Nice.
I mean, that's just a special treat, you know. But we do pies and stuff for the holidays. We do cookies and little mini cakes, and so
I love it.
We try to accommodate and try to help everybody. You know, this is a very inclusive space. So
it is. It's very welcoming, I would say.
Yeah, but the food, like if someone's child has autism, if someone has an autoimmune issue or a behavior issue, and they do better with the gluten and dairy free, their whole family can come in here and enjoy a delicious meal, and they don't have to feel weird or special or order off a special menu or harass the waitress about
My
the
father's
diet.
sitting over there enjoying stuff right now. Absolutely. So,
Right. But it's,
right.
you know what I mean? Like when you go, if you have a health issue and you have to change your diet, it's awkward when you go into a restaurant because you're afraid that either it's not going to be safe, where this is a very safe space for, gluten and
Sure.
nothing's allowed in the door that isn't a gluten-free. So again, very inclusive. People can come in and relax. They don't have to
It's nice
hover
and
over their
comfy
kids.
in
Like,
here, right?
are you sure? Are you sure it's gluten-free? Are you sure there's no dairy in this or
Right.
whatever? Yes, everything is gluten and dairy-free. So everyone can relax and have a good time and enjoy a delicious meal together and know that it's safe for themselves and their children. So
I love it.
I think that's worth $1 million bucks.
That's worth it. Look, having your family and being able to all enjoy it, and also having longevity in life and being healthy and being able to enjoy different activities.
Yeah.
Eating well is all very important for that, right?
Absolutely. If you do the blue zone things, the whole longevity thing, like,
Mhm.
you want to make sure that your eating is clean and as close to the source
Sure.
as possible. And I try to incorporate as many plant-based things here as I can and try to, again, let those layers of freshness and nutrition with everything. Like even the waffles, you're loading it up with vegetables
types
and
of
fruits
fun
and
stuff.
our chocolate avocado mousse,
Oh man,
which,
that's sounding good.
and strawberries and so coconut whipped cream and it's good stuff.
I love it, Sandy. Now, I got a few questions from our viewers. So I did a little poll out there.
okay,
and
cool.
we did get a couple questions that we have to ask here.
Okay.
What was the biggest recipe fail you ever had in the kitchen? Or did you ever have one?
Turkey meatloaf.
Turkey meatloaf?
It was awful.
What was
That was a long time ago. And turkey meatloaf. I tried to make turkey, man. It
What
was so
was-
dry and it was just awful. So yeah, Fred likes to remind me of the
turkey.
of the turkey meatloaf fail. But there's a lot of things, especially like, formulating recipes. There's always
It's a science. I mean,
it's a science. Yeah.
right.
I mean,
You have to try. You have to
baking
experiment.
is science.
Oh my goodness, that's why.
Cooking
That's
is
why I
art.
don't bake.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree.
So that's one of the things. Speaking of that, there's a little segue. But the baking is science and cooking is art. I'm going to
Okay.
start a cooking is art series with Wash Arts.
Nice. Wash Arts down in downtown,
Washington,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Yes. So they invited me to be like one of their food experts.
Oh, I love it.
And, I like I said, in my book, I talk about baking as science, cooking as art. So we're going to have a cooking as art cooking series
Nice.
where there'll be cooking classes to learn how to,
Sure.
food is love, food is medicine. So we'll do, one is a healthy recipe.
Okay.
As the food is medicine. And then the food is love will be a healthier comfort food.
Love it.
So we're doing
Allison's
all of
doing
that.
some great work at Wash
Yes,
Arts.
she
So
is.
I'm
She's
very
a hoot.
excited. Yes, she is.
And she invited me to come on board, and I said, "Heck yeah, let's do this."
I think
So
that's a great, like you said, it's an art form.
it is an art.
Wash Arts,
I know.
Now, okay, another one of our viewers, they want to know if there was a juice named after you, what's in it and what's it called?
I would say the ocean blue.
Okay.
The ocean blue is a Sandy in a cup. It's it looks like mermaid. I'm very much a mermaid girl.
Okay, I love
like
it.
I always say, I want to be a mermaid when I grow up. I love the ocean. I love swimming in the ocean, and the ocean blue has the blue spirulina. So when you add it to cucumber, which is the green,
Right.
and pineapple, which is yellow, anyway, you put that together, and it looks like Panama City, man. It's
No
like,
kidding.
It's blue green juice, and boy, is it good. So I would say if I was a juice, I would be ocean blue.
Now, you have to admit this here. So some people want to know, what's your go-to cheat food when you're not the juicery queen? Do you have a cheat food?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, let's just say it's not really a cheat food so much as it's a indulgence.
Okay.
So I love to make my my cashew cream sauces.
Okay.
They're really rich. I mean, this is not a low calorie food. It's rich, just like
Cashew cream
it's
sauce.
I have 3 different flavors in the book.
Okay.
Different varieties. There's a pumpkin sage, there's a creamy basil, and then the roasted red pepper. That's the recipe that saved my life, because I thought, if I have to go my entire life without having something rich and creamy and delicious, because I love Alfredo and stuff,
Sure.
I'd just like, just jump off a cliff.
So you had to find an
So I had
alternative.
to figure it out. So that was the recipe that saved my life, I would say, because once I figured it out, I was like, well, dang. This is amazing. So it's things that are rich like that. Like I've now come up with a dairy-free carbonara.
Whoa, okay.
It's not vegan because it does have egg in it, but it's dairy-free.
Okay.
And that's amazing with the pancetta and, so rich things like that. I also like, to make my queso. I make a queso blanco.
All right.
Out of,
I like the queso.
I'm an ex-cheese freak, so you can see I'm talking
I see
for
there's
real
a theme here.
There is a theme, yeah. So, cheat foods are, they're rich, creamy delights that I create. But again, it's still within the parameters of the DTBW, because I will never go back to that time in my life.
Sure.
Where I was afraid and thought I was going to die. Thought, my poor children are embarrassed because their mother is just immobile.
Right.
And, and how scary is that for them? To see their mom failing.
Right.
And my husband too. So I try to stay, as
healthy
as possible, because this isn't like being on a diet. Like, oh, I'm going to have a cheat day or whatever. This is a
lifestyle, right?
Yeah, and I've been doing it for 13 years now. I've got it down. And if I crave something, I just figure out how to make it. It ends up being in the next book,
Oh, there you go.
So that's,
I like
what I mean? Like, I don't sit around and wringing my hands like, oh, I miss this or I want this.
No, you
I will not
find
be
a way.
sad. I will find a way to make it great. Hand me that, Dave. I'm going to show everybody. So this is the book. This is Desire to Be Well, Recipes and Wellness for Health and Happiness. And it's 187 pages of information and inspiration. So it's not just a cookbook. This is a wellness guide. There's, lifestyle balancing, functional wellness, and gut health. If everybody's got some sort of a gut health issue, I have your answers right here. So this is a great place to start.
Yes.
Order my book, come into the shop. I'll sign it for you. Start with that.
And then we just go from there.
And then we go from there. Yeah. I always say, like on the back of my book here, I say, I wish I'd had this cookbook and wellness guide when I first started my journey back to health. It would have saved me from so much needless stress and anxiety over my dietary and lifestyle changes. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a good place to start.
I love it. One last question from our viewers.
Yeah.
What's the best juice for someone who's like, all that green stuff? Like, we've talked about the kale and this earlier. What would you recommend to someone?
Yeah. Well, I try to, I can make any juice you want. You want it to be really green and funky? I'm your girl. I got you. But if you are, worried about like, ew, I'm not going to like this.
Right.
Like your dad. What did he get? He got the orange creamsicle. It tastes like ice cream. It's orange and pineapple and coconut. It's delicious.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, but it's got all that immune boosting vitamin C and soluble and insoluble fiber. Our juices are sort of a mix of the soluble and insoluble, even though it's the way that we juice. Some juices are cold pressed, strained, they're filtered and they put them in bottles and that lasts for a week. Mine is to be consumed right away. And that's where you get your maximum nutrition, maximum benefits. Again, all of our juice blends, we have like Mom's Apple Crisp. It tastes like apple pie.
Oh, that sounds good. Yes.
We have our, the Zinger, which is our carrot apple ginger. It's like silk on your tongue when you sip that. And that has all the warming Ayurveda stuff that's really good for your digestion. Cucumber Crush. That is hydrating. It's also helps to flush your kidneys.
Sounds very refreshing, like a
refreshing.
spring and summer type of drink, would you say?
Yep, it's very refreshing, but it's again, it's very well balanced. And you take a sip of that and you go, wow, that's really good. And that's what everybody says, when they first take a sip, they're like, wow, I'm surprised. Like, this is really good. I'm like, I told you. I told you, I got you.
I told you so.
I told you you're going to like this. So yeah, I try to create everything, especially, the ocean blue. Like, how do you come up with all these different recipes? I just play around with them. And sometimes we go, add a little bit of this, whatever. We're coming up on rhubarb season.
Oh, yes. I love good rhubarb.
I love rhubarb.
Yes.
And it's strawberry and rhubarb time coming up like within the next 2 weeks.
One of my favorites,
and
yes.
We have a yeah, I know your dad's going crazy.
I know. He can chill out for one second there, bud.
We have a juice that we came up with last year. I have a gentleman that lets me buy all his rhubarb, like big flats of rhubarb.
Nice.
So I came in here and I was like, how do I make a strawberry rhubarb pie juice?
Yes, that's
Yum.
that.
So,
now we're talking a little further talking my language here.
So I use the magic milk.
Okay.
Just like I use for the Mom's Apple Crisp. So it's our homemade oat milk. We make our own oat milk here.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. We have a maker that's, you add all the stuff and you push the button and it makes plant-based milk. So we have our fresh oat milk that we make here. No gums or fillers or any of that.
Sure.
Anyway, so that's mixed with, it's a concentrate. So it's mixed with like maple syrup and vanilla and cinnamon and nutmeg. And what makes it taste, we do a little concentrate shot in the juice, bang, pie. And so we came up with the strawberry rhubarb pie. I cannot wait to make it again. Because it does. You taste it and you go, shoot, it tastes just like rhubarb pie because it has the green apple, which is the sour.
Right.
And the strawberries. And the cinnamon magic milk stuff, you know what I mean? Like it's
right.
And then like a little skinny piece of carrot in there, and it gives it the right color and the flavor. It's amazing. So it's fun to create. You can come in and say, "Hey, Sandy, can you make a juice like this?" Or, "Hey, Chelsea, can you make a juice like this?"
Right.
Absolutely. Let's go. Or I don't want apples in it. Or can you switch an orange? That's the beauty of a juice bar is that you can have it customized to whatever you're craving for that particular day.
Plus, what you're doing too. I mean, it's not just having all the certifications, having lived through it. You kind of have a good idea of how to make something for someone.
Yes,
that's
when somebody
more customized.
has an ailment, or they're coming, they're like, "Oh, I've been sick, or my family's got the thing. Whatever. How do I strengthen my immune system? What do I drink? Which juice should I have? Or I was, partying and I'm dehydrated.
Right.
I need some, or I've been working out a lot and I need some refreshment. I know what's going to hydrate, what's going to strengthen your immune system, all the different ingredients that go into making a juice. Because there's a million different ways that you can customize a juice.
So when we squeeze the day, desire to be well juicery, here in the quail shops, what are your days that you're open and what are your hours?
Right. So Quail Acres is our flagship store. We're here Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 3. And the South Point location is open 7 days. The health club's open. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's open every day. So why not be open?
Right.
Plus, nothing's open on Sundays there, but we are. So come and have lunch. Come have a juice. If you're running around and everything's closed, we're open. So, and that's from 8 to 2 every day. And then the weekends, 8:30 to 1:30.
Nice.
For Saturday and Sunday. And, we're usually there till 2:30 cleaning up and whatever. So if you come and, don't worry about coming at the last minute, we'll hook you up. So.
And you bottled some of your stuff. Like it's on the market?
No.
Wait, because I swear I saw Allison, because, I interviewed Wash Arts recently.
I did that special for her.
Okay, I was just wondering, because, we're sitting down starting the interview, and I'm like, what's that? And she mentioned a desire to be well juicery juice, and, it was professionally.
Oh, yeah. No, I have cute bottles. Those are for special events.
Okay, just wondering. I'm like, where can we find this at?
Yeah. No, that's a whole nother animal when you get into packaging and all of that. But for special events, we'll see. There's always something around the corner.
Sure.
When those opportunities avail themselves, I try to keep things fluid.
Yes.
I don't, if something gets in your way, turn. I go this way really fast. If something gets in my way, pivot.
Exactly.
And if the opportunity,
comes up,
well, heck yeah, let's go.
I love it.
Yeah. So I just try to, keep my vibration high so that I am then a magnet for miracles and see the opportunities that are around me. Because if you're so singularly focused in this one direction, pounding your head against the wall like this, you're missing out on all of these opportunities that are everywhere in your life. So keep your eyes open, have your head on a swivel, pivot when necessary, just always keep that positive momentum. And I think that's just how I was able to
You've always been a positive person. I mean, you and I've known you for decades now.
Almost,
yeah. It's almost 20 years. I know. Yep.
Crazy. Shh. But, so people would go, "My, aren't you a Pollyanna?" And I'm like, I can't help it. I've always tried to be as, positive as I can
100%.
be. And, people wanted to tease me about it, but no, I mean, it really is. It does make a difference. When you practice gratitude, when you practice, manifesting things, you have to have that positivity in your universe. And then those opportunities happen. They're everywhere. I mean, in 3.5 years, international best-selling book and 3 different juiceries in 3.5 years. Hello.
And you're technically a franchise now.
Well, right? Yeah, I know, right? The health department considers me a chain because I have 3 licenses. But
congratulations.
Thank you.
Way to go. I don't know if you really want all those headaches, but
no. But it's, it just keeps rolling. And it's like puppies.
It's like puppies,
like rescue dogs. I'm like, oh, look, there's a space for you. My son's like, Mom, wait. And I'm like, okay. I know it's cute.
I gotcha.
I love what I'm doing. I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about wellness and helping people and making people feel good.
Right.
And happy.
You've always been positive. Every time, we've hung out in the past. I mean, with your family and everything. I mean, we've always had a great time. You've always been a positive and inspirational person. So
thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Couldn't ask for a kinder compliment.
I only speak the truth. So.
Yeah. So, but Desire to Be Well Juiceries.
What's the social media? How can people?
So Facebook.
Okay.
And Instagram. Instagram is Desire to Be Well. Facebook, there's like Friends of Desire to Be Well, Friends of Desire to Be Well Juicery. Pick your poison, whichever one, sounds fun. You can hit me up there. I don't think you want to see pictures of my kids and stuff. So Sandi Kern. But LinkedIn is Sandi Kern.
Okay.
Sandi Kern. And my website is desiretobewell.com. And I'm working on updating that.
Nice.
That's hard.
Yeah, that's an animal in itself.
Yeah. So I'm trying. Yes, it hasn't really been updated lately, but I'm working on it.
And do you have a phone number for people to contact you?
Lots of phone numbers. So,
okay.
For our Quail Acres location, it's 724-747-2500. No, 0025. 0025. Sorry, they're new. Because it was my cell phone for years. And then now at South Point is 724-747-9100.
Oh, those are easy numbers to remember too.
Yeah, I know, but the one I transferred. And then, you can always reach me, Sandi at desiretobewell.com from my email.
And that's Sandi with an I, folks.
Sandi
just remember that.
Sandi at desiretobewell. Yep.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Sandi? I appreciate all of your time, and I've learned quite a bit here today. I know my father's learned quite a bit and enjoyed his smoothie juicery drink as well.
Yeah. Dave got the orange creamsicle.
Yes.
So good. It's like when I was growing up and we would go to the mall and there was the Orange Julius.
Oh, yes.
Right?
I remember that.
Remember Orange Julius?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and I always wanted one, and my mom always said no. So when I was there by myself with friends, I would always get it. It was always a special treat. So that was what I thought to myself when I was making that was I wanted to make so I could have my Orange Julius anytime I wanted.
Fair.
And anyway, so buy my book, give it a try.
And they can get that on
Amazon.
Okay.
You can get this on Amazon or Barnes & Noble online.
Nice.
We also have a Kindle version.
Okay.
And if you go to my website, for the holidays, there is the High Vibe Holiday ebook That's only $5, but it has all of your favorite holiday recipes, all done gluten and dairy free. You know, again, you're not compromising taste, texture, or tradition and any of it. And that way, when you have special guests or you have to, you know, you don't have to miss out on any of your holiday favorites. So
I love it.
But there's that. There's, you know, but anyway, I'd love to have a chat. So with every purchase of your book, you get a consult.
There we go. A consult as well.
You can talk to me or you can come and buy a juice. And if it's not crowded, we can chit chat. So
that's
all good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Sandi. Sandi Kern, Desire to Be Well Juicery. Make sure you follow them. Come on in. Get healthy. Feel good. I feel good even after this little bit that you gave me. So thank you so much.
Excellent.
From hospital bed to helping others feel whole again, Sandi Kern is living proof that purpose can come out of pain. Her shop, Desire to Be Well Juicery, is more than just a place to grab a smoothie. It's a second chance. And if you're lucky, you might just walk out with more than just juice. You might leave with hope. In Washington County, I'm Matt Sweet Staniszewski, and this is America Period.